Module 10, the endocrine system. The endocrine system as a whole. I've already hinted at what makes up the endocrine system. It is comprised of glands that produce hormones. Those glands then are made up of hormonal cells that produce hormones and secrete those chemicals into the bloodstream. And that is how hormones are transported around the body, through the blood vessels. Remember that endocrine literally means within and separate. It is within the body and affects areas that are often far removed or separated from the glands. A good example of this is parathyroid hormone. Its job is to affect osteoclasts so that they will break down bone. But these cells are a far distance from the parathyroid glands that produce this hormone. Yet parathyroid hormone can reach its target cells via the blood. Now think about that. On the way to the target cells, parathyroid hormone will come in contact with lots of other cells in the body. Why aren't they affected by it? That's because other cells don't have receptors for that hormone. To get a good idea of how the endocrine system works, let's begin with an endocrine gland. It produces a hormone and will immediately release it or will store it until it is needed. When it is time, it will release the hormone into the blood. At this point, sometimes the hormone has to bind to a carrier protein. This is because some hormones are lipid soluble and thus unable to dissolve in the watery fluid of blood. When bound to a carrier protein, the hormone kind of rides along, as the protein is water soluble. Once the hormone reaches its target cells that have receptors for it, it is released near them. And once they bind together, the target cells produce a response. Now, the hormone may also send a feedback signal. In other words, when the hormone is in the blood, that informs the gland that made the hormone that the signal has been transmitted and no more hormone needs to be synthesized or secreted. However, its feedback signal may instead tell the original gland that more hormone needs to be secreted. Once the hormone has sent its signal, it moves to the kidney or the liver so it can be disposed of. If it moves to the kidney, it will be transferred to the urine. If it moves to the liver, it will likely end up in the bile that the liver produces. That is because bile is eventually secreted into the small intestine, where the hormone will be evacuated by the body. This is why urine tests can give us clues to what's happening in the body hormonally. If a hormone is disposed of in the urine, then it can be identified, and it gives us information as to what hormones the body is secreting. One hormone that is disposed of in the urine is serotonin metabolite, which is a breakdown product of a hormone called serotonin. Doctors test for this hormone in the urine because it is found there if there are tumors in the digestive tract. By doing a non-invasive urine test, doctors can better track a patient's condition.